Hello, hello! Pete's Packs back with Phyrexia All Will Be One Rebel Rising Commander Deck. Let's see what's in this. Alright. As we've seen in several of the more recent Commander decks now, it does come with this cardboard shell, which has tokens that you can punch out that are foiled. So this one also comes with 9 tokens and a divider. Looks like this one comes with 4 charge tokens and 5 +1/+1 counters. Plus a divider. And punch them out. They say on here that you can use them as counters or even as victory confetti. Which, I mean, I guess if you want to make a mess, you could do that. But yeah, that's a thing. So we've got counters knocked out. This is the red-white one. It is the Rebel factions of Mirrodin. We have our collector booster sample pack, which we'll put to the side for a separate video. This deck box actually has held up some, so that's nice. Got an insert with our security tags on it. That's the whole thing. Another plain life spin down like we had in the second one. That is double-sided. Excuse me. Then we have the folded insert. Which goes over the Rebellion Rising deck. And a blurb about playing Commander. Then our box legendary is Naali. Then we have a little bit about Naali, Sun's Vanguard, and another action shot of Naali. Excuse me. Okay, so we've got that. So this is the red-white commander deck. Let's see what's in here. All right. Our box legend, Naali Sun's Vanguard. 2 red-white. Attacking tokens you control have double strike. Whenever one or more tokens you control attack a player, exile the top card of your library. During any turn you attacked with a token, you may play that card. That is extremely powerful on a 3/3 body. Now the secondary box legend we have is Othari, Sun's Glory. 3 red and a white. Excuse me. Flying lifelink haste. Whenever Othari, Sun's Glory attacks, you get an experience counter, then create a 2/2 red rebel creature token that's tapped and attacking for each experience counter you have. 2 red and a white. Tap an untapped rebel you control. Return Othari from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Okay, so this is a commander that so if you end up using this as your commander, you likely won't return it to the command zone very often for that. Right. So we start things off with a Pauper All-Star Battle Screech. Excuse me. I have a frog in my throat today. Now, Battle Screech is used in several Tier 1 Pauper decks, such as the Boros aggro and Boros mid-range decks, and quite a few token strategies. Mostly because it's a good rate for Pauper, and the flashback is just fantastic. See, then we have Cut a Deal. Each opponent draws a card, then you draw a card for each opponent who drew a card this way. It's nice. That's getting a reprint. Then one from, I believe, Modern Horizons 2 originally, Generous Gift, which is the white shifted version of Beast Within. We have Gold Knight Commander, which is a old token enabler. It's been reprinted a few times. Intangible Virtue, all right. Glorious Anthem for tokens, gives them +1/+1 and Vigilance. Midnight Haunting from the original Innistrad, if I remember correctly, which creates 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. Good old Path to Exile, a commander staple, and sees quite a bit of play in both Modern and Legacy. We have Phantom General, which is a lord for creature tokens. Prava of the Steel Legion, I believe is a reprint from the Commander 2016 product. Could be wrong on that. Another token enabler that lets you create soldiers. And there may also be another partner creature, so that this could be a alternate commander for your deck. 8 Mirage. Use up to 2 creatures you don't, or up to 2 target creatures you don't control. For each of those creatures, create a token that's a copy of that creature. Those creatures gain haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. That can really be useful. Portaling Outburst. Makes 3 goblins. Loyal Apprentice. Let's see, this is from Kaladesh originally, if I remember correctly. No, this is from one of the commander products around Kaladesh. This is a reprint. So 1 and a red. You get 2/1 haste with Lieutenant at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you control your commander, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. The token gains haste until end of turn. And good old Boros Charm. So this deck might actually be worth picking up a few copies of just to fill out some Modern and Legacy staples. And Heroic Reinforcements. Create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Until end of turn, creatures you control get +1/+1 haste. We have Rip Apart, which was an all-star in one of the more recent standard seasons. It's good removal for creatures and planeswalkers, and could also hit artifacts and enchantments, which is really nice in red-white. We have the Commander Staple Arcane Signet, good old Boros Signet, Commander Sphere, Felwar Stone, all Commander staples at this point. Mask of Memory, if I remember correctly, it's from Mirrodin? Possibly from Mirrodin block. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw 2 cards. If you do, discard a card. Mind Stone, good colorless ramp, can later be cashed in for a card. Soul Ring, we all know what that does. Soul Guide Lantern, that's a sideboard all-star, and let's see, Legacy, Modern, and Pioneer at this point. Talisman of Conviction, which is one of the enemy talismans added in with either Modern Horizons or Modern Horizons 2, I don't remember. And good old Boros Garrison, one of the Karus. Also sees play in Pauper and Modern as part of Titan combo. Buried Ruin. Lets you return artifacts from your graveyard. Command Tower, it's a staple. Forgotten Cave. Pretty good Cycler. Clever Concealment. Let's see. 2 white instant convoke. Any number of target non-land permanents you control phase out. So this could actually be really useful for saving your team from a board wipe or stopping a removal spell. Something along those lines. Especially since it has convoke. Glimmer Lens, which has Mirrodin, which is the new version of Living Weapon. Whenever a creature and at least one other creature attack, draw a card. That's kind of nice. Then we have Kemba's Banner, which also has Mirrodin. The equipped creature you control gets +1/+1 for each creature you control. Okay. So Empyrean Armor as an equipment. Staff of the Storyteller, 1 and 1 white. Whenever Staff of the Storyteller enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Whenever you create one or more creature tokens, put a story counter on Staff of the Storyteller. White tap, remove a story counter from Staff of the Storyteller, draw a card. Okay. Nice little draw engine there. We have Gold Warden's Gambit. It has affinity for equipment, so for each equipment you control, it costs 1 less. Let's see, create 5 2/2 red rebel creature tokens. They gain haste until end of turn. For each of those tokens, you may attach an equipment you control to it. Let's see, then we have Hexplate Wallbreaker, which has, for 3 red, has Mirrodin, so it creates a rebel equipped to it. Comes into play. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. Whenever equipped creature attacks, if it's the first combat phase for the turn, untap each attacking creature. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Nice. So, Roar of Resistance. Creature tokens you control have haste. Very nice with the other token enablers we have. Whenever one or more creatures attack, you may pay 1 in red. If you do, creatures attacking your opponents and or planeswalkers they control get +2/+0 until end of turn. Now, keep in mind, you can play this on, or you can use this ability on your opponent's turns too in Commander. So there's a lot of politics that can be played with this. Volshock Factory, 2 in a red, tap, add red, put a charge counter on it. 2 in a red, tap, sacrifice it, create an XX colorless golem artifact creature token with haste, where X is the number of charge counters on it. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay. So it's a mana rock that can be a finisher if you need it to. Call the Coppercoats. Strive, this spell costs 1 and a white, more to cast for each target beyond the first. So Strive mechanic originally coming out of Theros, if I remember correctly. Choose any number of target opponents, create a 1/1 or create X 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, where X is the number of creatures those opponents control. Okay, so you can make a massive amount of tokens that way. We have Collective Effort, which is originally from Eldritch Moon, I believe. So 1 white, escalate, tap an untapped creature you control, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, destroy target enchantment, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. Very nice. We have Court of Grace, 2 white, enchantment. When it comes into play, you become the monarch. It is very powerful. Oh, this is one of the courts that's used in... These are actually used quite a bit in Legacy. It's nice to see that this is getting a reprint. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. If you're the monarch, create a 4/4 white angel token with flying instead. Then we have Elspeth Tyrell, force a reprint. So for 3 white, +2, you gain 1 life for each creature you control. -2, create 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens, and then -5, destroy all other permanents except for lands and tokens. Good way to clear the board very quickly if you need to. You have Emiria Angel with Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying, and then on its own, it's a 3/3 flyer for 4, so pretty good rate. We have Felidar Retreat, which was used very effectively in the previous standard that we had. So for 3 and a white, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, choose one, create a 2/2 white cat beast creature token, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain haste, or gain vigilance until end of turn. So very nice. And good old Finale of Glory from the Finale series and War of the Spark. So X white, create 2/2 whites, or create X 2/2 white soldier creature tokens with vigilance. X is 10 or more. Also create X 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance. So very good to finish. We have Flawless Remover. If you control a commander, you may cast the spell without paying its mana cost. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. So very good way to keep your creatures around. We have Harmonious Archon, which turns non-Archon creatures you control into 3/3s. Actually, not just you control, all non-Archon creatures turn into 3/3s. And when it comes into play, it creates 2 1/1 soldier tokens that become 3/3s from its ability. You have Hour of Reckoning, which is the non-token Wrath with Convoke. Increasing Devotion was from Dark Ascension, if I remember correctly. Lets you create a bunch of tokens, or 5 human tokens for 5 mana. If you flash it back, which is 9 mana, you get to create 10 instead. You have Mace of the Valorant. It's a buff that gets bigger. The Martial Coup, it's a token creator that can be a board wipe. Maul of the Skyclaves, another one that made a big splash in Standard recently. So when it comes in, you can attach it to a creature and it gains +2/+2 flying and first strike. Mentor the Meek is a great way to build a draw engine from your token strategies. Silverwing Squadron. It's a thing that gets really big from having a lot of tokens. And it also creates tokens when it attacks equal to the number of opponents you have. We have good old White Sun Zenith from Scars of Mirrodin, I believe. I think the Zenith series was from Scars. So we had the beacons in the original Mirrodin, and then, yeah, this is from Scars of Mirrodin. But instant speed way of making a bunch of cat tokens, and it shuffles back into your library, so it's reusable. Chain Reaction. Which deals a ton of damage to all creatures in play, based on the number of creatures. Dragon Master Outcast, a token producer that can just keep making tokens. It was an all-star in Battle for Zendikar. We have Legion Warboss, card that actually shows up in Legacy and occasionally Vintage. And shows up in Modern a bit too. It's a fantastic token creator. You can just run people out. We've got Siege Gang Commander, makes tokens, lets you fling them at people. Well, lets you fling them at any number of targets. So it's both a number of bodies. It creates 4 bodies, and it's a good way to turn those into removal. Excuse me. Adriana, Captain of the Guard, 3 white or 3 red white melee. And then other creatures you control have melee for 4/4. You have Assemble the Legion. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a muster counter on a symbol, and create a 1/1 red and white soldier token with haste for each muster counter. So this just keeps building up, and you make more and more tokens. Jorkadine, the Prevailer. So this is from Scars of Mirrodin, if I remember correctly, originally. So 3 red white, first strike Metalcraft. Creatures you control get +3/+0 as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. We have Idol of Oblivion, which plays into our token strategy. It's a bit of a draw engine on its own, and then you can turn it into a 10/10 Eldrazi in late game. Good old Luxodon Warhammer. Great equipment to give trample and lifelink, so you can punch through with your stuff. Mirror Battlesphere. Vintage Cube All-Star. Still sees quite a bit of play in Vintage and workshop strategies, but also just a great finisher that makes a ton of bodies when it comes in. Solemn Simulacrum. It's a colorless ramp, and it replaces itself when it dies. Then we have good old Castle Ardenvale. Fantastic token producer from Throne of Eldraine, along with Castle Embereth, which is a pump from Throne of Eldraine. We have Exotic Orchard, which is a core commander card at this point. Fury Calm Snarl, one of the Snarl series from Strixhaven. Then we have Kerr Keep from Time Spiral. I think this is the first time this has seen a reprint, but a great token producing land. We have Slayer's Stronghold. Another card that I'm not sure has seen reprint, but originally from Avacyn Restored, and is used as part of the win condition in Amulet Titan. We have Temple, Windbrisk Heights, easy way to cheat out your bigger spells with the Hideaway. So it shouldn't be difficult for you to attack with 3 or more creatures in this kind of deck. Myriad Landscape is a pseudo fetch for this. We have Path of Ancestry, Secluded Step to go along with Forgotten Cave as a cycler. We have Temple of the False God. So semi-ramp built into our lands. Then we have some basics. We got a whole bunch of mountains, a whole bunch of plains. And we have the thicker display commander and the etched foil. And for tokens, we have the Monarch. I might actually end up pulling this to use my legacy box. And then we have Kobolds of Kerr Keep. Monarch on the backside of the Monarch, we have a Star Golem with haste. We have Kobolds of Kerr Keep with a dragon on the back. Mirror token, Thopter on the back. Soldier token with an 10/10 Eldrazi on the back. Revel token with a 1/1 Goblin on the back. Bird token, cat, human, spirit on the back, human soldier, an elephant on the back, just a soldier with an angel on the back, 2/2 vigilant soldier with a flying vigilant 4/4 angel on the back. All right, the tokens in this are fantastic, and there's just some great cards overall in it. So, very nice deck. This was... I'm so bad at remembering names. It was something Rebellion? Rebellion Rising for Phyrexia all will be one commander. So this one seems like a pretty good pickup. Like it's got some good value in it, and has quite a few cards that I would consider staples for multiple formats. So if you like playing aggro strategies, quite a few good pickups. As far as a commander deck, it does have several staple cards in it, so I can see how it would be a good thing to pick up overall. So, thank you for joining me on this adventure. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, stay awesome, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.